Shall we talk about Christmas? Do you remember what
I
Christmas
was going to
like?
ask about holidays.
Okay.
Period. Not just holidays.
Well, Christmas.
Christmas is a good one to start with.
I remember the big double doors
Oh,
on Christmas morning. They were. Do you girls remember those from
Yes,
from the
I
living room into
Yeah.
the dining room? The big.
They're still there. Pocket
Christmas
doors.
morning, those were always closed, and we were never to go in there till we had breakfast and everything was cleaned up from breakfast. Then the double doors were open, and we could go into the Christmas tree and see what Santa brought.
Remember that tree, the paper
The
tree?
Christmas tree was a paper tree.
Boy, was it a scraggly mess.
It was a paper tree, mind you.
And we had it for
And
years.
oh, years.
That's the only one we ever had, isn't it?
Yes, that's all I
The
remember.
first artificial tree you ever made.
It must have been. It was kind of tissue paper, but looked
Wrapped
kind
around wires.
of wrapped around wires, then you could push them up and then
And it was thin
take
tissue
them
paper.
down. Oh, yes, and scrun.
You
Oh,
had to-
that was our.
You had to
that was
put on a
our-
lot of decorations to make it look pretty, to fill in all
You
the
know,
spaces.
but I don't remember us getting a lot of toys. I know Marjorie and I got a doll together one year.
I remember the year we got dolls.
We each got a doll.
Oh, you did? Well, Marjorie and I got one together.
Together.
Yeah.
We
never
got,
a lot of
we
toys.
got two dolls, Blondie and I, and she got the one with dark hair, didn't you?
I don't.
And I got the one with light hair, and they looked like the ones that were out in the store.
That's really cute.
And
Never had a clue, did you?
and Mom had sent for clothes to fit them, and only one came, one package came instead of the two packages. And so they gave them to Blondie. So Blondie's doll had clothes, and mine did not, except the dress it had on. And I was very unhappy. I cried,
But
you
she
know,
always got
and I pouted, and old Graham says, Bobby, I will make you clothes for that doll, and they will be nicer than what Blondie has. And she did, and they were.
You know, but we should talk about Christmas at church too, you know, the Christmas tree. Great big.
Do you remember when they had the candles on the tree?
Yes,
Real
candles.
live lit candles on
That's
it.
right.
A real evergreen tree.
And a big tree.
Talk about dangerous.
I know.
Oh.
Two men sat up there.
Well,
with
they had buckets of water
bucket
there.
of water, and they had a thing with rags on it, so, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that was dangerous.
It was
Yeah.
dangerous, but they always lit them candles.
Yeah, but they did.
Yeah.
But
But getting back to Christmas, you remember what Dewey got one year? A big fire station, or fire
Oh,
truck.
yeah.
Fire truck, yeah.
I remember that's what he got
Yeah.
one year for Christmas, and outside of that, I don't remember. Well, then some,
presents
one
about-
time they made some doll furniture. Dad did.
Yes.
That was.
Yeah.
And it was painted green.
Yeah.
And
With red
with
trim.
trim, with
Yeah,
red
with the red
trim.
trim.
You know, Briardale colors. They had Briardale store.
Well, that's the paint they had.
Yeah, they had Briardale paint because they painted the store
Green,
with
trimmed
bri-
and red.
Yeah, green, and that's the color the furniture was green, trimmed in red.
And
Because
the edge of it was, and it was made of thick stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a
Well, who
love
really
seat
made 'em,
and a
though?
little chair. Dad did, and
You
Mother.
think he did?
Yes, and Mother painted them.
I didn't know my
Yes.
dad could do any
Well,
kind of dress.
They were crude.
Yes, they were crude.
And they were not much fun to play with.
No.
Because our dolls didn't fit in.
No, they were
or
too tiny,
anything.
too small. Just
But
like-
everybody got candy and an orange sack. You
At
know,
Christmas- at
time.
church.
They
At
had a
church, we
Christmas
got a big-
program. Remember, Mom dressed us all up and setting us on the table.
Yeah.
And one of us got in the butter.
I remember the table's upset one time.
Oh, did
You know, she's getting us
Put it all
ready
on one side.
after you know all our baths on Saturday night, and she was setting us on the table, and she had too many on one side, and the table upset. I remember.
Oh, the baths. We must tell about
Yes.
Merlin taking a bath.
Where you took a bath
Yeah.
with no water in it.
The kitchen, you know, we had a shade that pulled down to the kitchen. And that had for where we had a bath. And we had
And
a
your
tin-
privacy.
Yeah, and your privacy. It was a tin tub.
It
And we
didn't
had-
go clear to the bottom.
No.
It left about this much.
and this neighbor girl, what was her, Anderson
Anderson
girl.
girls.
And we had a little puppy. And she was chasing it, and the puppy went in under the curtain, and she went right in there. Merlin was in there taking a bath. Oh, did he holler. I don't think she looked up. She just was after the dog. Merlin thought it was the end of the world. And remember how we used to pick on them girls for the
Wormy peanuts.
Because they could play a guitar.
Yeah, and they could sing.
Yeah, we were so jealous of
And
we
they
were
would never,
jealous.
they would never get out and play
No,
with us. They just stayed in their car and played that guitar and sang songs. And they would never play with us.
They never came.
No.
They never associated.
No. So we fed them wormy peanuts.
I don't
We
remember
weren't the
end.
best kids in the world.
We tried to be angels.
Well, we were trying to be good to them. Oh. But getting back to Christmas programs, Mom always, especially for Norma, she always made little panties the same color as her dress. Because when Norma get up to say her piece, she'd pull her dress up and twist it around her hand and everything. So Norma always had the same color panties as she had dress.
Her panties had to be as pretty as her
Yeah.
dress. Well, I know.
No shame.
Had big programs at church then,
Yeah,
Christmas
and then-
programs. And then always went to Christmas dinner to
Yeah.
one of my
Why
dad's folks.
They took turns. Dad's sisters, brother.
And it was a large crowd the
That's right.
evening with, you know,
All
there
the
was
kids.
5 of them in the family. Wasn't it 5 or 6?
Pauline and Viola and Alfred and Dad.
Six.
And
It
Bill and
was
Bill.
6.
Uh-huh.
It was 6. And they took turns,
Having the Christmas dinner.
except Uncle Bill. His house wasn't big enough.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, them and all their families, 6 of us and all their families. Oh, it just filled the house.
Oh, it did.
But that's what we did every Christmas
That's right.
for dinner.
Took turns, that's
I
right.
remember one Christmas when I was old enough, and I suppose you girls were too, that, well, Germans, they always like their wine.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
sure.
Uh-huh. They always had wine before
Yeah.
Christmas
Yeah.
dinner.
Up to Uncle Art's.
And it was up to Uncle Art's, and I suppose we were all old enough, I got my little glass of wine.
We got our little taste
Little
of
taste of wine
before dinner.
Uh-huh, I remember that one Christmas. Well, you probably weren't old enough yet.
You weren't old enough to drink, huh?
They didn't have much, but they always had their little glass
Oh,
of wine
yeah, that's
before
what I
dinner.
said, yeah. Well, they say a little wine's good for your stomach.
Oh, I remember, I think it was the last one in 1939, and we have pictures. And we went over to Aunt Mary's, and the kids were getting pretty good size by then. And Aunt Mary's house was very small. It was one of these little square homes, you know.
Two
and-
bedrooms.
Yeah.
And a kitchen.
And a kitchen, and a living room, and a tiny parlor, or
Uh-huh.
living
Yeah.
room. And, the boys' bedroom had 2 beds in it, and there was just an alleyway between them. But anyway, the house was so full, I spent my day on the bed in their bedroom.
Full of coats.
Yeah, full of coats. There was no place to walk or nothing else.
I remember we took a picture outdoors. It was so warm we didn't have coats.
And we have those
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah,
They're in the-
It was,
they're in
and it was
the
Christmas Day.
Uh-huh, and it was
I
nice
brought
and
that
Yeah, I remember
my
that.
photo book.
Yeah.
And I think that was the last one we had. They, you know, the
They
kids,
decided it was too
the
Yeah.
bad.
kids were just getting too big. It was just.
everybody just had to have their own Christmas then.
So,
But then they would, most of them were foreigners, all but my folks, you know, of course. And we would have a big dinner, and of course, everybody brought food and everything. There was always food left over. So the men would go home and milk the cows,
Oh,
or
that's
feed the
right,
chickens,
come back.
or whatever had to be done.
Oh, yes,
and then they'd
eat
come back for
supper.
supper. And then we would make sandwiches and stuff, and
all
we'd have
day
supper.
affair.
All day. Then we'd play cards till who knows when.
It was an all day affair.
It was an all-day
And that
affair.
was our Christmases when
Yeah.
we were kids.
That's what it was like.
What about the holidays?
Easter, we always went to church.
Had big dinner on
Yeah,
Easter,
Easter.
but that was usually just family affair.
Now, do you remember having birthday cakes?
I do.
Well, that's all we had was just a birthday cake. No presents or any parties.
And you
or-
go, well, Blondie had a party.
She did. Yeah, I had a party.
Blondie on her 10th birthday,
Oh, did
and that's when we got,
Got
the
our
wagon.
wagon.
Oh.
Bobby and I got the wagon on my 10th birthday.
It was mine too.
How many guests did we have?
You know, all I can remember is Irene and Reba and Nita coming, and I didn't know them from Adam.
And cousins.
They were cousins that, you know.
on,
from
on mom's side.
Yeah. On the,
Of course, we knew cousins on dad's side because we
yeah,
grew
'cause
up
all
with them.
with them, but we didn't know them.
This was a big red flyer, I tell you. It was a big
a
wagon.
radio flyer.
Yeah. Beautiful. It was brand new. We really thought we had
And didn't
something.
come out of the store.
No. Came from somewhere
Well,
else.
I imagine they ordered it special, but then it wasn't for sale.
And the first thing we did, we let the handle hit the front of the china closet.
Oh, that famous
And it went-
Santa Claus.
Bang! Never broke. After that, the wagon went outdoors.
No more house. But we did enjoy the wagon.
We hauled things in.
We
the
went
wagon.
up Kirkman's Hill west there, and we would ride
Coast
down
down.
there.
That's where we sleigh ride.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sleigh riding on that hill.
Had a lot of fun there.
Halloween.
Old May basket, that was a big thing.
More than Halloween. Well, Halloween wasn't
No.
anything then.
At your birthday party, do you remember what we had? We had green Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid was new, and it
Well,
came
how
out.
can you remember? I don't
Oh,
remember
I
that.
do. Green Kool-Aid, and she made the cake green and white. The angel food
Is
cake,
that
green
right?
and white.
I do remember the green and white angel food, yeah, but I don't remember the Kool-Aid.
And I can remember, I always got an angel food cake on my birthday.
Yeah, I think I did too.
I don't, you know, I was thinking the other day about that.
Well, I think we all got it. I think we always got an
Except
angel
when
food
I
cake.
think I was 10, that I came home from school and I come looking for my birthday cake. And the birthday cake always sat up on the china closet. Because it was your birthday, it was done and sitting there. And I come up, sit, and up there sat a cake dish full of cupcakes. And I asked Mom, where's my birthday cake? And she said, I just was too busy and cupcakes have to do. And of course me,
You
it
thought.
was the end of the world, I counted.
Oh,
So you didn't, she didn't have it somewhere else, that was it.
No, that was it. She was
Busy, I'm
busy,
sure.
and I'm sure she was.
Because then, you know, angel food cakes wasn't in a box.
no, that's right, they made it by hand.
Yeah, you had to beat those egg
You had
whites
to go
and beat
gather the eggs. We had our
Yeah.
own chicken.
Oh, yeah, we had a chicken,
chicken house.
we had a chicken
We
house.
didn't use other people's eggs that they brought. No, we had that.
had our own
I
chicken.
told you that lean-to kitchen that Adolph's turned into the chicken house. That's where we raised the chickens.
We played on that roof many a day.
No, for Thanksgiving, I think we met with the family, didn't we? Or didn't?
Thanksgiving?
I don't
With the whole
recognize the
tham, with the whole big family? No, I don't think so. I think that was more.
Or the 4th of July, we never done that.
We probably had mom's relatives Thanksgiving.
Well, everybody celebrated on the 4th of July.
Every little town had a celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't remember ever going to Mount Etna, but I remember going to Carl.
Uh-huh.
And I think that was
34.
in 34, and it got,
Was so hot.
must 105, 110, something like that. But I can remember, and we didn't stay very long because it was just too
We
hot.
wanted to, us kids wanted to come back home, and we never got to go anywhere. But it was so hot
wanted
and
to come
dirty
home,
and-
sprinkle
and
our beds.
Yeah.
Didn't they have movies down in Mount Etna too
Yeah.
on Saturday or
Free
something?
shows.
That's
Free
what I
shows.
thought.
That was early drive-in movies.
Yeah.
Only
On
thing
the north
is,
side of Dad's store.
and only down the schoolyards where they started.
Is it? Well, when I read, it was on the north side of Dad's store.
Oh, well, it started in the schoolyard. When I went down for music lessons, Why, it was down in the schoolyard.
Is that right? Well, I remember it was on the north side of Dad's.
Yeah, it was there too, later.
Wonder how come it was moved.
I don't know. They put up benches then.
Yeah,
This was no benches.
Oh.
This was just, you bring a blanket and sit on the grass.
Oh.
And the town merchants paid for having the movie because it brought people to town and on that night. And that's what was the purpose of it.
You know, we forgot to talk
They
about
were old
macafishes
movies.
and bootleg.
Oh,
McAfish run the garage.
Yeah,
across
the
the
street.
McAfish had a garage.
The south of the
He
creamery.
fixed cars and things. It was right south of the creamery.
And he bootlegged.
And he had an extracurricular activity.
We should forget that.
It was during Prohibition.
Yeah, yeah.
And he sold bootleg liquor down there.
He sure did.
Sometimes there was a lot of traffic in and out there.
Well, do you remember when the boy, Dewey and his friends' beer blew up? Okay? Dewey and his wonderful buddies made beer and put it in Uncle Plummer's cave down there on the 40. And one day it started blowing up. You could hear it everywhere. Oh, their beer blew up.
Well, didn't Dad hide wine underneath the house? Wasn't there a piece of the floor that came up and he put
In the
wine-
dining room, there was a piece of the floor
That's
that
right.
came
I didn't
up.
know what that was for.
Yeah, I think he had wine under there.
Oh, I don't remember that, but I don't know what they kept in there, but I know
Yeah.
part of the floor
He
came up.
put it down in there because
It was illegal.
It was illegal.
Yeah.
Oh.
To have wine.
Of course, you know, our dad
Yeah, but
didn't
you know,
drink a
we
lot.
always had wine at church for communion,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't know.
until we got alcoholics in the audience and then we went to grape juice.
But I
Well,
think
it's true, we did.
They made beer there at home too that blew up down in the basement. I don't know who made that.
Well, I remember Dewey was making wine or something up there in his closet, in his bedroom.
Well, I can remember that.
Yeah.
They were big glass bowls like
Yeah.
this with a
Kind of a beaker thing.
on the top.
He was always experimenting.
Yeah. Well, he made, that was the closet in
Liquor
his
was his
bedroom.
thing.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it never exploded or
I don't think
anything.
so. One didn't have tight lid.
But anyway, the boys would go upstairs and then they'd come down and go upstairs and come down.
Good place to take a
This is
break
a good place
right
to take
now.
a break. Okay, what's up to drink? He's gonna change tapes.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
You didn't know we were going to be this long-winded,
And I was hoping to get a great day out of you guys, at least maybe 4 hours or so. Don't even know if we're gonna get to it all, because I know we haven't even begun to cover the Depression and World War II. So, we're still back when you're 10. So, we're back on track.
That's all right.
Deanna. Good.
That's all right.
This is
That's what
great.
it's
This
for.
is great. The bootlegger. Was there anything else you needed to add to him? Or Uncle Dewey making wind up in the...
No, I remember somebody stopping and asking him, of course, you know, there were Holstes everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
There were, you know, Dad's family and he had cousins.
On
and
every
corner
Every
was a
corner.
Holstein, yeah.
And he said, I'm looking for Mr. Holste. Can you tell me where Mr. Holste lives? And he was a man of few words. He said, hell, stop anywhere.
The year before I started to school, I think, was when our center school, where we went to school across from the church, that all the children in the school were Holstes. The director was a Holste and the teacher was a Holste.
We ought to talk about country school. What do you remember about country school, girls?
I remember the year I started, they were grading the road
Were
148
they?
to put gravel on.
Oh.
And as what happened the first week of school, they were doing the mile between, from Dewey Store to school. And those men and their caterpillars like to chase us kids like, with those caterpillars. They would tease us, and I was petrified. It
They
almost,
chase us up the side of the hill and
Yeah.
down.
They
Just
were
scared
mean.
us to death.
I know they wouldn't hurt us, but we didn't know
we
that.
didn't know that, but they were the army to
We
us.
dreaded going
And
home.
I tell you, it was misery to go to school.
Well, I started school, Ruth Holste was a teacher when I was 4 years old. And she asked Mom if I couldn't come, so I went. And she says when the winter comes, she can just quit and start over again, you know. Well, it was a nice winter, and I went, and I've been dumb all my life because I went too young.
I did too.
That's true.
I started too young.
If I would have been older, school wouldn't have been so hard for
I
me.
know, me too.
Yeah.
I remember I always had tonsillitis in the winter.
That's
You know,
right.
I'd always miss every Valentine party.
February.
In February, every Valentine party I'd miss because I had tonsillitis. And we had a teacher that was very strict, and I think it was when I was in 5th grade and we took fractions. And of course, I missed a period of school in there when she was doing fractions. Well, by the time I got back, she was giving a test on fractions. Well, I just wrote down anything, you know, and she kept me after school. She said, this grade is ridiculous. She didn't have sense enough to know that I wasn't there when she taught the fractions. And she kept me after school. So she explained them to me, and then I understood them. You know, I could do them fine then, this after school section. But Norma was on the south side of the schoolhouse. She was going to wait for me and walk home with me after school.
Nice girl.
Yeah, she was one of our big girls. And this teacher, she went out and chased Norma home.
She did.
So,
Molly Blue?
yeah.
So who else? That
Oh,
was
who
my
else?
first grade teacher.
She
She also
was-
kept me after
So she
school.
must have needed kids.
So
you
what
can-
harm was Norma doing there waiting for me
Yeah.
to get out of
Yeah.
being punished?
Do you remember Merlin and Fred Holste fighting and him biting his finger?
No.
Oh, yeah, they'd get in terrible fights. And Fred would always bite his finger.
No, I don't remember.
Fred was a first cousin.
Yeah. I remember that. Remember we could take soup and on top of the
Yeah.
stove they had a dish pan or something.
And water.
Dish pan of water,
Uh-huh.
you set it on the
Yeah.
stove, and
You
then you
take
bring
soup.
your little
Little
jar
of soup and we
of
could have
whatever
hot
you
soup.
wanted hot for
Yeah.
dinner, so we had
During-
hot meals.
During the winter.
Yeah.
Well, that tasted good
Yeah,
too,
it
didn't
did.
it?
Hot lunches.
Do you remember Wendell Holste going in the back
Yeah.
room and hitting the door? Did he have fits or what was wrong?
Yes, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he had.
And there was a ball bat in there,
Yeah.
and he was hitting the door
Oh,
with the
yeah.
ball. I thought surely
He
the
had-
teachers been
He
holding
had a problem of some kind, girls, but I don't
He
know
hold
what
it
it
like, I
was.
remember they held the door handle shut so he couldn't come in the room.
I don't know, do you suppose, he was hyperactive, like they
Yeah,
have
well,
now?
that's true,
I
he
don't
might have
know
been,
that-
Bob.
I don't know.
He
He
probably
had a
needed,
problem.
what do you call that drug they give him now?
Yeah.
Ritalin.
Ritalin. He
But-
probably needed Ritalin.
I don't understand what caused him to do it. I mean,
I
what
don't know
ticked him
either.
off?
I don't know. He just, you know,
You,
we were just
mother.
all scared of him.
But those dents were on that door.
Oh,
always.
yeah,
They're still
yeah.
there.
It's a wonder he didn't break a hole through. It must have been a
Yeah.
good door. I'll have to say that. Yeah.
It was scary. They'd always have to call Gladys to
Yeah.
come and get him. He had a problem somehow.
I don't remember him having too few of them, you know. I
Yeah,
mean,
just-
too often.
No.
But
They
just,
didn't have
just
too
some
often.
little thing would trigger him.
Yeah.
And then they just have to lock him in the cloakroom.
Where's he at now? Okay. Well, let's see. What else about country
What
school?
about the teacher and the ice cream?
But ice cream, what do you mean? Oh, you mean about high school?
Was that, oh, was that?
Well, that was in
school?
high school.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
country school, no.
I'm sorry.
But we had Dolores Hopkins for what, 5 years?
Well, see, she
Ruth
was my
Holste,
first.
and we had Bess Laring, is that her name? Laring girl.
Well, I don't remember her.
Remember the one, who was it that got married? And you couldn't be married. It was her, wasn't it?
Well, Dolores was married and she taught, because I know I went home.
Yeah,
She
but
was
one
taught.
time you could, a
Yeah.
married teacher could not teach.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that.
And they got in
Oh,
big
yeah.
trouble
And
over,
more
they
time.
found out they'd eloped or something and,
Yeah. Had to keep it
yeah,
quiet.
yeah. But in them days, we got an hour for lunch. We were supposed to sit and chew our food. Today, they give them 20 minutes, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You go out, you play ball. We had the
Right.
old schoolhouse on the grounds
Yeah.
beside
Yeah.
the new school
yeah.
that we went to. And when we played games, we always played games around the old schoolhouse.
Andy over.
Andy over. And if we played hide and seek or something like that, the boys, they'd always crawl under
Under
the
the,
old
yeah, there was a hole, that's
old
right, there was,
schoolhouse.
yeah.
They crawl in there, and then there was a dip down in there, and if they lay down in there, you couldn't see them. So I can remember that. We played steel sticks and
Red lightning.
Well, I remember Bobby and I always played baseball with the boys. And the girls, they'd play house down the stinking old toilet.
yeah.
And Bobby and I'd play ball with the boys.
Well, when I went, we always played, the whole school just played ball, you know.
Prove it. We played that game, prove it, red lightning.
What's red lightning?
Red light, green light.
Yeah, red light, green
What's
light.
prove it? Mom,
Huh?
what's prove it?
Prove it. Oh, we had to take so many steps. Different kinds of steps, I don't know.
Then they challenge you
Yeah.
and you'd have to prove
Yeah.
that you took those kind of steps and got so many and.
Oh, I don't.
And may I, of course.
Oh, may I? Oh, yes, I forgot
If you
about
forgot to say
may I.
may I, you had to go back.
And in the winter, we got to go sleigh riding over there on the hill.
Yes,
You know.
and we would have it extended, we would give up our recess.
Recess.
15 minutes.
So that we could have an
Longer
hour and a half.
That's
noon
right.
at noon to go sleigh riding.
That's
Because we had
right.
to go quite a ways to find
And
it.
Lou Holste's children had a big toboggan.
Oh,
Remember
yes.
that? And we'd load everybody on that big, it'd hold a mess of kids.
There were no gravel roads then.
And down that hill we'd go, and you couldn't guide it, you just held your breath while you went, and we had all that weight on there, and that thing would go like,
Speaking of Lou Holste's kids, I remember our lunches.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they always brought the best chocolate cake with chocolate frosting on.
Or black walnut.
Or black
cake, too.
walnut cake, always good cakes, you
Oh,
know.
oh,
And we
delicious.
always just brought cookies.
Yeah.
But they was always willing to trade
Oh,
a
yeah.
Botten cookie for a
Oh, yeah.
I think Vivian and I traded cake for cookies all the
Well,
time.
they never got the
They
Botten
never got
cookies.
Botten cookies. We always took Botten cookies,
I
didn't they?
I traded with Bernice Holst.
For good cake,
Yes,
Yeah.
good cake for Botten.
for Botten cookies.
It was Vivian and I that always changed,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we always changed too.
because they wanted our boughten cookies.
That must have been a tradition, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I still like black walnut. Boy, this is a good black walnut here, too.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Do you have any? You'll have to talk to Orville, he'll give you some.
No, there's some down on the road there, and I thought to myself, the squirrels, I haven't fed them yet. They got plenty of
They're
them.
eating them, or very.
Okay, what else you want to talk about?
Well, let's see, I suppose you're probably starting to grow up.
Depression Day.
Oh, we haven't
Depression
talked
days.
about our grandmother yet.
Oh, yeah,
No.
we gotta talk about Grandma.
She was back in the old.
Now, what
olden
year did she
times.
come live with us? You know about it?
I don't remember life without her.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, you don't? Because I remember, see, when she lived up there by the church.
Well, I do too, Nora.
Yeah.
In the
I
old
rem-
German school.
I remember going across from school
Yeah.
and seeing
Uh-huh.
Grandma, you know, when she's in the house. So I think she came down just about that time, don't you? When I was probably in the first grade or second, sometime like that.
I remember it was an old schoolhouse and it was just one room and she had her bed in that far end, I remember.
Yeah.
And we'd go across there and she had a big feather bed and Graham could make up a feather bed that you'd think it was a regular bed. It was just smooth and nice, but you didn't dare go on it.
When our early on, when the Germans settled in Victoria Township, and they started the church, they built a little schoolhouse off of, it wasn't attached to the church, but they built it. It was a little schoolhouse, and you were required to go to school for a whole year in that little schoolhouse and learn your catechism in German.
In German.
in German. And that's why they had the little schoolhouse. And of course, when they finally quit having services in German at the church, well, then they quit learning their catechism in German. My father learned his catechism in German, but he didn't know what he learned. But he learned the German words, but he didn't know
What they meant.
what they meant. And so it got, and so this little schoolhouse was here. And this is what old Graham lived in.
There was one big
after it
room, but then there was a
used.
little hall thing out
Yeah.
front
Yes.
too, yeah. Yeah.
Remember the spools, the
Yeah.
empty spools she had on?
Oh,
her-
yeah.
Strung.
Sure.
Strung
She
on.
was a seamstress.
Yeah, Grandma was.
She sewed for people up there when she lived there. But
Now,
then she moved down home to take care of us kids when Mom went to the store, I think.
Now, Uncle Bill was still with her, wasn't he?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he moved in too, and went to high school.
Yeah, went to high school.
Living there.
So she
Then when
was
she
there.
came, she had a dog named Laddie, and Laddie came with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she brought Bill and Laddie, and she lived, and came in, moved in.
But Grandma was a gold mine, 'cause she sewed all our
Clothes,
clothes.
that's right.
We'd look in the catalog and show her a picture that we wanted a dress like that, and she'd make it.
Remember Uncle Herman and them girls had them nice dresses? And Grandma would rip them all apart. It was such Georgette or some beautiful material. And Grandma would make us Christmas dresses out of them.
All our good dresses to go
Yeah,
to church in
yeah,
and
I
stuff
think
like
those
that.
dresses we wore were made out of that.
She would remodel them.
Material
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. But Dad had material in the store, and you could go in there and
The reason why Grandma was living with us was she became a widow in 1910, when our mother was only 13 years old. So she had no home.
Uncle Bill was only one, just a baby.
3 months
3
old.
months old when Grandpa was.
Yeah.
So that's why she came to, how she came to live with
Why
us.
don't you kind of tell about being up in North Dakota and coming home and back?
Well, that is a store.
Well, that's true.
Is
That is
our,
true.
that's Mom's.
That's another story.
But I remember,
But I
old
just
Graham,
thought that we should say that she'd been a widow.
Yeah,
since
that's right.
1910.
I remember old Graham's sewing all summer, making our school clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
sewed
and she always embroidered our nightgowns, remember?
Who got new clothes? I
Yeah.
always wore hand-me-downs.
Yeah, they were all
Third
refashioned.
Pearl.
They were all refashioned to go on the.
I remember when Norton, we had to hang up our clothes. Sometimes it was just a newspaper rolled up with string tied, and then you put your dress on there. Well,
That
no
was the
such
hanger.
thing as a hanger.
Hanger.
But Norma, she found a nail or something, and she hung her dress on that nail. Well, I tried, and it wouldn't stay. Darn thing. And they were just new school dresses. I remember that. And we weren't to wear them. Well, she would just hanging them up, take care of until school started. So I get a pair of scissors, and right behind I cut a hole in my new dress, so it would hang on the nail.
Oh, gosh.
They didn't like that too well.
I remember when I was little, I always sitting on the sewing machine had a leaf that hung out like this, with the door swung around there to support it. And I was always sitting on that leaf watching Grandma sew.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd sit there by the hour
Yeah.
watching her sew on the sewing machine. But if I got my fingers anywhere it wasn't supposed to be, out had come a thimble.
Oh, yeah.
She hit me on the forehead with that
She
thimble.
would, yeah.
And I knew I was in the wrong place, I shouldn't be doing something.
I remember Saturdays and Graham cooking raised donuts,
Uh-huh.
and that whole big dining room table would be filled with raised donuts. And she'd get tired, I suppose just so many donuts, and you have all these holes left over. And then she'd roll them out and make long johns out of what the dough was left. They were just as good as the donuts. And she'd put on I remember these donuts, these long johns. She always put maple frosting on them, and I always loved that maple frosting in those donuts. And then Dad would bring up a gallon of fruit. And she would make 4 pies every Saturday out of that gallon of fruit. Sometimes it'd be apricots, sometimes it'd be boysenberries or whatever.
And that was every Saturday.
And that
She
was
made
every
4
Saturday.
pies.
And then that
Because
lasted,
we never knew how many was gonna be
That's
there for
right.
Sunday dinner.
and then we killed chickens. And then we had fried chicken, and that was to last the weekend, over Sunday. There was not much cooking done on Sunday.
We had no Sunday night supper. We just ate popcorn.
Popcorn. I remember
Because we ate
Grandma
so late,
always-
Dad never got home from Montana until so late.
Oh, but in the winter when the fireplace was
Oh,
going,
yeah.
on Sunday nights we'd roast marshmallows and have
that was
weenies
good,
over the
yeah.
fireplace.
We'd always drag that big old Davenport in front of the, in the wintertime, the Davenport was in front of the fireplace.
So we could sit and watch the fire.
And I was a worrywart. I know.
I don't think my dad liked it either.
But I can remember one time in the fall, I went with my dad to go buy some apples somewhere at an orchard east of Dewey.
Probably Dad.
And I went along, and it was cold, and of course the car didn't have any heater, and it was cold, but he went over there and brought back Jonathan apples. And all the while I was gone, I worried that the house, I kept looking back toward where the home was, to see if the house was on fire, because we had a fire in the fireplace, and I was afraid that the house would burn down while I was gone. And that's how worried I
Yeah.
was.
You remember that big old screen we always put in
Oh,
front of
yeah,
the phone?
yeah, keep the coals
Yeah.
from popping in.
But Dad went over there to buy apples for the store, to sell in the
Oh.
store.
I bet that was at Tadgy's, because he had.
No, that
yeah.
wasn't east of the store.
Oh, it was, oh, it was
Tadgy's.
east. Oh, I thought it
Yes,
was
We
west.
went over east,
Oh,
so we
west.
did some orchard, and we bought like, 4-6 bushel of apples.
For
I
Dad
know.
to sell and to
Yes.
us to use. Well, I remember eating bananas. I said I was 12 years old before I knew banana was yellow. We always got ripe bananas, and I don't like banana
don't
cake or banana bread today yet.
I don't like bananas.
I don't either.
period.
I don't
Don't
either.
like bananas.
I don't like ripe bananas.
I
can eat
don't
'em-
either.
I can eat them when they're pretty green, but I don't want them.
I like when you take a banana off, you can heal it or and hear it peel
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
You know, that's-
right.
I don't care.
We ate too many of the other.
Yeah,
kinds.
right. That's the kind of.
People don't understand if you don't like bananas.
I
but
know
I
it.
don't.
That's it. And banana cake, I just can't stand.
And my
We
grandkids
love it.
were just nuts over banana bread, and I,
You know, but I don't remember Mom making banana bread.
no, it was always
I
banana
do.
cake.
Yeah.
Right, banana
Cake.
cake. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
bread.
She always made a big cake because it had to serve a lot of people, you know. But I remember old Graham sitting in the big windows.
Oh, yeah.
In her rocking chair that Jerry has. Jerry's got her
I've got a
rocking chair.
rocker.
And she'd sit there watching people come and go from the store.
You know, it's very
That was her world.
That was
Yeah.
her world, yeah.
Now, did Mom paint it white?
Yes, it was white.
It was
And
white.
she was always sewing something, or
Yeah.
crocheting,
Oh,
or
she
doing
mended.
something.
Amanda.
Yeah,
She
mended,
clothes
that's
to
right.
make 'em look all
Darn
like
socks
new.
and everything,
Do you
yeah.
remember when she'd fix the vegetables for Mom for soup?
Yeah.
Everyone was cut perfect.
That's right.
It looked like it come out of the can. It was so perfect, every piece.
Well, Mom's a little that way too, you know.
Oh yeah, Mom wanted
Yeah.
it done that way.
Oh, yeah,
Grandma
Mom-
would do it.
Mom was pretty precise, I mean, pretty, I don't know.
But I liked noodles. I overate on noodles, by the way. But anyway, I liked noodles, and I wanted to learn how to make them. And I said to my grandmother, she said, "How do you make noodles?" So she told me what to do. And I went out to the kitchen, and I was working with them, and I said, how stiff do you make them? And she said, "You can't get them too stiff." And so I kept putting in flour, and I made noodles, but we couldn't eat them, they were too tough. I had put in too much flour. She didn't come to the kitchen to help me, she just let me do it. Then I found out how to make noodles.
She didn't know how strong you were, how much flour you could get in there.
She was a sweetheart.
She was a sweet gal.
And I never heard, my dad and her never had a
No,
word, did
never.
they, ever?
Never, my dad never crossed her.
Never crossed her in one bit.
I don't think my dad ever crossed anybody much.
No, not much.
Him and Merlin didn't get along.
No,
I know they didn't, but it
That's-
was Merlin's fault.
Yes, it was, but,
They just didn't hit it off at all.
They just didn't see eye to eye.
They didn't.
It's a good thing Dewey left.
It was, the Army was a good life. life for him.
Yeah,
he
sure.
enjoyed it.
Yes.
He liked it. He liked the military.
Now, when he first went in, he was in the cavalry, wasn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
Horses.
And who came to ride horses on Sunday, they could let the public ride the horses on Sunday. And there was an announcer on WHO who came down to ride, and it turned out to be Ronald Reagan. Dewey got the horse ready for Ronald Reagan.
To ride.
And when he come home, he always brought somebody with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Always had a
His
friend
face.
with him.
Always brought somebody.
Always had a friend with him. Dewey always had somebody.
He always had somebody with him, didn't he?
Always had a man friend.
And
He always needed a brother, I guess.
Yeah.
And face facts, back in those days, the army was tough.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
tough people who joined the army.
Yeah.
And some of these that came were
Characters.
characters.
Yeah, they weren't always the cream of the crop, were they?
But I imagine the army did
No.
them good, just like it did Dewey.
Yeah. Because I don't know where Dewey'd end up if he hadn't went down.
I remembered when I was in the hospital and so sick that my mom told me, and I can remember this too. I just had such a high fever and I was out of my head, and
You still are.
and I can remember seeing Dewey, and he was mobile.
There.
Yeah, he was there, but there was about 6 of them, about 3 there and 3, and they were all Merlin, all around my bed. And I said something to Mom, and then I think Mom knew how sick I really was when I was hallucinating. Uh-huh. But I remember seeing Merlin
And about 6
in
of them.
uniform, about 6 of them around my bed.
Now, what do you want to talk about? Depression?
Yep.
Well, I was gonna
Okay.
ask one more thing
Okay.
before we go on. Someone might want to tell about what the school system was like then, about how many miles you had to live from, and how it was blocked off.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a school.
There was a school ever.
Every 2 miles.
Well, our cousins, like Bus and Wally and Fred, they had 2 miles to go because they lived a mile east of home and they were on that side of the road. And they had to go a mile that way and a mile up. And so they had 2 miles to go.
It determined on which side of the
That's
road
right,
they lived
yeah.
on.
Kiesel girls went the other way.
Like if they'd lived on the other side of the road, they'd had to go to the school south. But they were in 2 mile, or 2 mile blocks.
And I remember them, the Holste boys would come walk over home. We'd all walk to school together, but they'd still eat something.
Yeah.
Mom would offer them something to eat, they'd eat again.
Well, they'd walked a mile.
Oh, right.
Mile already.
Boys, they'd be hungry by that time.
And the school closed when I was in 8th grade. Our center school closed. There was only 3 children. And so they just closed the school. And so I went south on my 8th grade.
A mile south.
Because I was just a mile from there. But it wasn't any farther to walk. But I went to the DeBoer school, they called it.
There were schoolhouses every 2 miles.
Every 2 miles around the square.
And it was a neat schoolhouse. It was newer than ours, and it had a hot air furnace and a full basement with cement. And I thought that was wonderful. We could roller skate down in that basement and play when the weather wasn't good.
And the heat would be better, because I remember that old pot-bellied
Oh,
stove. and
yeah, that-
cold. You'd have to, teacher'd let us sit around there till the room got, it'd take a while to get the room warm. 'Cause
hot-
maybe-
Go ahead. The hot air furnace is just a hole,
Yeah.
in the floor, and the heat came up, and it really had to
Because sometimes teacher wouldn't get there, time, well, you couldn't, to get the whole room
Yeah,
warm.
warm enough.
And it'd
Well,
take a
that's the
while.
kind Dad put in after the steam heat went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Floor furnace, yeah.
and do it.
Yeah.
At home. Remember the winter, we lived in the basement? when the
Oh
furnace
my,
went fluid?
oh my, yes.
That was 36. Uncle John,
She lived with us. And what did we eat?
that was great.
Cornbread.
And white gravy. He loved cornbread and white gravy.
Every meal, I think he wanted cornbread.
Great Uncle John got snowbound at Dewey. And,
Well, he really got snowbound in Mount Etna.
well, yes. He got snowbound, and in Minnesota, wasn't it? That he lived, and he came down to help one of his relatives out down around Florinda or someplace, and he helped pick corn, and then he decided it was time to go home, and when they did, then we had this great blizzard in '36, and the snowbanks were so tall and everything, and so he got snowbound at his son's house in Mount Etna, but his wife wouldn't take care of him, John. So he asked Mother if she would take care of him. Here she was with all these kids, and they didn't have children. And so Uncle John came to live with us for 6 weeks until the weather broke so he could go home to Minnesota.
We were living in the basement.
And we cooked.
Furnace and broke.
That we cooked and lived in the basement and went to bed clear upstairs.
And cold.
And cold.
Oh,
Well, that's interesting about the weather, because we were gonna talk about weather, because there was the drought, and then the blizzards, and just weather you remember.
well, 34.
Yeah, like the,
It was a dust bowl. Hot. I was 10 years old, but I remember, and it never rained. Black clouds had come over and not a drop.
And you'd look at the sun, and it was just, you could look at the sun because it was just almost blotted out because of the dust.
The
And
dust from Oklahoma, everything, it was red,
Red.
red dirt, and it was on everything and everywhere. It was the winds blowing from Oklahoma and blew that red dirt up here. It was everywhere.
So many people's wells went dry. We were lucky, ours didn't.
Well, people would come and get
Yeah.
water from
They
our
got
well. It
water
was so
from
good.
that well.
That's right.
Down across there, and they would get water from that well. It was a good well.
It was so sad though.
Us and lots of people.
Then 35 wasn't so bad, and then 36 was dry again.
Yeah. And
36 was,
30.
and 36 winter was terrible.
Bad.
Storms and blizzards.
The snow got, the snow drifts got so frozen, and they went over the fences, so you could just, the livestock would get out
Walk
of
over.
the fields, they'd walk right out over the top. It was,
That's when I went and stayed with that Pauline to go
Is
to high
that
school.
High school.
Oh, was that right?
Yeah, I stayed there that
well,
winter.
what did Fred, what the
I
rest of them
don't,
do?
you know, of
to
course,
go
he
to
was
school?
probably out of school by then, because he's older
Oh.
than me,
Yeah,
I
well,
suppose.
Yeah, but
Don't
Dolly,
talk about Fred, he always took his girlfriend home. I never got out of, he would take Rita
Rita
Amador
Amador.
home
Oh,
every night after school. You know, Dad and them had a car, and, and Fred drove it, and we went to school.
yeah.
And then I'd have to go down and sit in a bar while he took Rita home.
I always thought that Uncle Alfred owned the car and Dad furnished the gas.
Well, I don't know. It was some kind of a mutual thing. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And then they all drove to Messina to go to high school.
Yeah, I don't know what the mutual agreement was, but I know I spent an hour in a bar there.
And Fred, he was the oldest, so
And
he
you know,
was
I can't
doing the
understand, as
driving.
persnickety as my mother was, why she put up with it.
Maybe she
Well,
didn't.
there wasn't.
Did she?
Well, surely she knew what time we got out of school, where we was at.
Maybe she thought he was in the library.
Did we have a library?
Oh, heck.
We talk about those hot, you remember that the store was across the way, and then you could look right upstairs. We never thought about pulling a blind or anything when we went to bed. It was hot, and we were sprinkling our bed, and this one woman said to Mom, "What in the world are those girls doing?" Everybody checked on us, you know.
That's right.
Yeah, we were video
Yeah.
for everybody.
And here we were sprinkling. It was so hot, we sprinkled the sheets, you know, and then the evaporation would kind of cool
Oh,
it
yeah.
off.
We'd get them sheets wet, and then we thought we were
Paper
cool.
school. Remember, we used to sleep outdoors too.
Oh, yeah. Slept
Well,
out.
it took me that woman said, "What are those girls doing?"
Well, I suppose anybody'd wonder.
You remember the time you were standing in your slip, And one
In
of
the dining room?
Yeah, one of the, comb your hair or something, wasn't it? Or you
Yeah.
doing something.
One of the DeVore
The
boys.
boys come in to, he bought hair oil in the store and he come on back to put the hair oil on. before
There I
he-
was, just
on
in
his
my
desk.
slip,
He
you know.
stood behind Jerry
Jerry
and
and fixed-
put his oil on, never paid no attention to her. And she
Just like
standing,
his sister.
yeah, he's standing there in her slip. He never paid no attention to her. He had to oil that hair down before he went on his day.
We didn't have no privacy at our house.
No, none.
There's no.
There was none.
That's right.
They just walked back home anytime they wanted to.
And how many meals did we eat without being interrupted to wait
Oh,
on the
none,
customer?
none. It's your turn to go to the store. No, I will last. We always had a fight about whose turn it was to go wait on the customer.
Nobody liked a tin store.
Not when you was missing your meal.
That's right.
Okay, Bob, where do you want us to go from here? Or I mean, Penny.
Well, you got anything else with this era?
Well, what about, I know you said something about families that didn't have anything during the Depression.
Oh, well, yeah,
Oh, well, my father fed them.
yeah. But they would bring their cream and eggs, remember, and they'd have their grocery list,
Yeah.
and they would, you know, have the priorities, you know,
Yeah.
if there was anything left, the kids got candy if there
Well,
wasn't.
my dad went to the bank in Messina, borrowed money to buy the groceries for the store, and then he would
Give these people
give
credit.
these people credit.
Mm-hmm.
This one lady, their family, I don't know, they had quite a few children, and Dad feels sorry for them, and he always cut the meat off the bone to grind for hamburger, you know. Well, then there was always the bone left, and he gave this mother the soup bone for the family, you know. And so she thanked Dad, but the next time she came back and she said, Herb, I like the soup bone, but could you leave a little more meat on it?
Yeah.
But that, you know, and he gave credit to all those people and they never paid him, you know.
But then the sad thing is, when they had money, they would go to Messina and buy their groceries
Yeah.
when they had money. But when they wanted credit, they came to
They
Dad.
can't do that. 'Cause he
But
would-
when
he-
Mom took over the store,
Yeah.
I didn't go on.
That didn't go.
My mom was.
She was tough.
They
Dad-
could go so far and then they wouldn't get any
Yeah.
more till they paid their bill.
Dad was too soft.
We had a rack down at the store, and everybody had in the neighborhood had a book. And when they came in the
Record.
store, they would maybe buy a can of tobacco, maybe they'd buy a loaf of bread or something. You wrote it down in the book, and
Out the door they go.
and out the door they went. And then most of them, when they had money, or at the end of the month, they would come in and the folks would add up the bill and they would pay. But then there were those who didn't, and those are the ones, they got their food, but they didn't come and pay. And it was, I think it was somewhere in 1950 or 60 before Dad got his grocery company paid for all he owed from the Depression.
I wonder how much.
He worked on that bill that he owed them a little at a time. Of course, the war years started it the other way, and but it was somewhere in the 50s or 60s before he got that all paid.
And he sued one person for the grocery bill. And he only got $300 of it. I think. Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, he said it isn't worth it.
He lost the frame forever.
Yeah, and he said it isn't worth it.
Well, what about
Sued anybody again.
robberies at the store?
Robberies?
Robberies, do you have any?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
But getting back to the store, I remember when I was older and we'd
Okay,
have to,
sorry.
and they'd bring their eggs and stuff. And I can remember paying from 5 to 8, 8 cents is about the most they did get for a dozen of eggs.
Oh.
From 5 cents to 8, I
Mhm.
remember, for a
Okay.
dozen eggs. In the hard
Well, the
times.
gypsies robbed us when they came.
Well, yeah.
And the daddy learned to meet them out the door.
That one time they came in all those Fords, weren't they Ford cars?
Yeah, I think
And they
so.
were all alike, how many, 20
I
some
don't
of them?
know. Well,
And they moved in on us.
And they just come in a swarm, and you
And
couldn't
you
keep
just-
track of all
And
of them.
they just took
Took
what
over.
they wanted.
That's
When
right.
they left, your store was stripped.
You couldn't keep track of them.
They just swarmed all over. They had a possession of about 20, and they all the same cars, all alike. I never will forget that. We were scared to death that day. I was.
We were hardly ever, everybody gone. So, but it seemed like every time we did all leave, the store got broke into.
Okay.
It did, it happened quite frequently.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what we never talked about?
What?
Was the old guy that came around in his cart, in his little mobile covered wagon thing he had, and sold stuff to Dad. And we'd make him mud pies, and he'd pretend
Pretend
like
to eat 'em.
He pretended like he
Oh,
ate them.
yeah.
And he had an old thing, just like you see in the movies, junk hanging everywhere on his thing, and he had stuff for sale. Dad, you don't remember him? No, it was, you were too young. Yeah, and he'd drive in, and then we just thought we really had something, and we'd make him mud pies. He'd pretend
He
like
was a nice
ate.
old
He
guy.
was a nice old guy, yeah.
Another thing I remember is Dad taking groceries to Ruby. She always came in a team and buggy. Ruby DeVore,
Oh, yeah, he
and
delivered
and he'd
groceries.
deliver groceries to her. When she got
Yeah.
where she couldn't come anymore,
Yeah.
why he'd deliver groceries
When
to
he'd go to
her.
Monette and
And I remember that she had this hat.
She was
I
such
remember
a
her hat.
strange-
Yeah, that's right.
She was
Yeah.
such a strange lady.
And she really thought she was dressed up in this, I don't know,
Satin,
It was
blue
satin.
satin.
It was
Blue
dark.
satin.
It was dark blue.
Oh, it's bright blue.
Bright blue satin.
And she had a
And the
hat.
hat match.
And it had glitters on it,
Yeah.
glitter on it.
And a team and buggy.
Uh-huh. And she never came to the store without. She dressed up. She really thought she was dressed up.
And she was always dressed in this blue
She
outfit.
always dressed in that blue
She
outfit.
lived in a cave.
And then she got where she couldn't come. When
Well,
Dad
it was a
delivered
house.
groceries.
Well,
And
yeah,
the
but it all
house-
fell in.
The house
and-
fell in and she ended up living in a cave.
She lived in a cave.
Yes. And then Dad, she got where she couldn't come. When Dad delivered groceries to her.
Yeah, he'd stop and leave them at the gate. He'd never see her.
And she had this one can, and she always wanted kerosene. I suppose she had kerosene lamps. She didn't have electricity.
And he was the one that was responsible for getting her for the authorities to go and get her and put her in a
home.
nursing home.
Because she
She would have just died there.
Was she married at one time?
No,
She was
never
never.
was.
married.
She was married.
Now you're talking about a cave that's in the, I mean, was it a built cellar cave?
Well, it was a
Kind of.
cellar.
Okay,
Yeah, house,
cellar
you
under
know,
the house.
Some that they had built.
Okay,
you know.
okay.
But it was just dirt,
Yeah,
You know.
right. Looked like a cave,
Yeah.
right?
but it would have doors on
Okay, good. Good Lord, just like-
it, like that, but it was underground.
Right.
But it wasn't long when Dad just got the authorities. She just died there.
Yeah, she needed to be somewhere dead. He'd never see her though.
No, never.
He'd leave those groceries and he'd never see her.
I remember that man that too, his wife got so sick. He came over home and he was telling Mom, and some way Mom got her to go into Iowa City, you know, got him help to send her to Iowa City, and she died up there.
Mm.
Because she was so sick. I'm trying to think what that guy's name was.
They didn't have money, and
Yeah,
she went to Iowa
yeah,
City to the
yeah,
hospital
yeah.
up there.
Then you could,
Because Mom said, well, if she's that sick, you ought to get her some help. And he said,
Because
well, he had no money, you know, and so.
There were vans or cars or something that would come ever so often
Yeah.
from Iowa City
And
and
pick them up.
pick people up.
people that couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford.
Any hospital.
And
any
she
hospital.
died up there.
Oh, nice.
But I don't know who that was. I can't
I don't
remember
either.
Nice.
They still couldn't go to Iowa City and do that.
Mm.
What was the little boy that was staying with y'all that died?
Gary Ansley.
It was my mother's youngest brother's son. They lived in a trailer house. He and his mother lived in the trailer house on the other side of the warehouse or
Yeah, the store.
the store in later years. And Uncle Bill, it was depression and finding a job was tough, and he used to go and work and leave Helen and her son Gary live in this trailer house, and she was there where she could get food from the store and
Send Gary to school.
and send Gary to school when he got old enough. And so they just lived there. And then later, when Helen went with Bill, she did leave him with the folks. And Mom sent him to school that year because he was on a new job out there in Utah. And when spring came and school was out, Mom put him on a bus. It was a bus.
I think so.
And he went by himself out to his folks. And it was when school was out. And then that fall, I think it was October, he got hit by a car.
Crossing the street, going to school. We got killed.
Well, the sun was just coming down over the mountain and it blinded him and it blinded the driver. And
They didn't see
they
each
didn't
other.
see him.
And the driver that killed Gary had already lost his son the same way.
Oh.
He was a cute little boy.
I considered him my little brother
Yeah,
because
he was a nice
he
little
was,
boy.
He
you
was.
know,
Gary
he lived
was
so
a
close
kid.
to us. and
That
we
was
didn't
the
stay with
first really
Tragedy.
tragedy we experienced.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Was Gary's dad.
And they brought him back home and he laid in
In the living room.
in the living room. The day of the funeral in his casket.
And I remember Aunt Helen.
She never was
She
right
never,
again.
she never cried. And one night in the night, she started crying and she woke the whole house sobbing and crying. Until then, she had never cried in
And that
tears.
was at least a week or two after
Yeah,
the funeral.
after the funeral. And one night in the night, she started crying.
I remember that.
Oh, I remember her sobbing.
I remember
Right.
Gary because I went in the room there where he was laying and I touched him. Nothing. Oh, that's the first time
Yeah, well, that's really the first tragedy we ever experienced.
Her death, you know.
Her death,
Really remember.
That was,
It was really
Bad
traumatic for us. We really felt it.
Young kid like that, I think.
Well, I was gonna say, especially being young.
Yeah.
And he stayed with us, good night.
he was
Like
like
Bobby
a
said,
little
just-
brother.
Yeah,
He was
he
to
just
me.
loved him to death.
And he was such a sweet little
Oh,
boy.
he was just a doll. Okay, what else?
Well, you know, Aunt Jean and Uncle Francis and the kids stayed
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I was gonna say, didn't everybody stay at your house once upon a time?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Especially grandma's side.
Yeah, grandma's side,
Always
there
on
you
grandma's
had
side.
it. It was always
Well,
grandma's side.
yeah, I think because Grandma was
Yeah.
there.
Well,
You
she
know,
was
they
a
would-
widow,
They would
too.
come. They would come because Grandma was there, I think.
Well, she was a widow woman. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, she.
And besides, Herb and Belby would let them come.
Yeah.
Well, Dad never objected to all my
But all-
mom's relation.
I'll
Remember
swear,
Frank Hall stayed with us during the depression?
Uncle Francis never ever forgot the death he owed the folks.
Yeah.
No.
He was so good to
Yeah,
my
he
folks.
sure was.
He was, yeah.
In
He
later
just,
years.
in later years after he made his fortune, he couldn't do enough for him.
That's right.
He remembered.
He never ever forgot.
But Jean and the two kids came and lived. And Aunt Jean is hard to live with.
Oh, boy.
She
So
was
it wasn't easy for any of us. It finally got so bad that my dad rented a house in
Oh.
Mount Etna and moved her down there.
her and the two kids.
Us girls couldn't do anything
Oh,
right.
couldn't.
No.
And they had to have a cup for everything, a fresh cup for everything.
And you'd
They
think,
couldn't drink out of the same cup, the kids couldn't. They had to have their individual cup.
if you were living in someone else's house, wouldn't you be a little lenient?
Well,
No,
wait a
not
minute,
Angie.
I know what that's all about, so don't get.
Well, I bet you do too.
And oh,
Yeah, and remember Bobby and Jean the time they run away, or Bobby and
Yeah,
Doris,
Doris.
they ran away.
Yeah.
And Herbie Kurtman, wasn't it? Saw him coming.
He
on?
had
Yeah.
Doris by the hand and he was taking her somewhere. He was gonna find his folks.
Well, now Aunt Jean was gone.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
I
we just
don't know
had the
why.
kids.
She
Just
must
the
have been
kids
with
were there.
Francis or something.
She must have
But
been
we just
been
had the
with
two
Francis
kids,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah, but Bobby was taking her somewhere. I don't know where, but he was running away from her. So you know they weren't happy either.
I think it was after Francis had place, or
Play.
and they were living in Mount Etna, you know.
Yeah.
And Jean went with him to get a place,
Oh, I
to,
see.
I think, to live,
Oh, and we
so
kept
that they
the
could
kids.
all go live. So they left the 2 kids with us to take care of them until then.
I remember Bobby throwing, well, his name was Bob too, Bobby, throwing your stilts down the toilet hole.
Yes, he was.
Oh my
he was.
God.
He was an ornery little guy, really.
It wasn't nice to have around.
No.
Well, he admits it yet today
Yeah.
that he was a
Yeah.
naughty kid. He admits
He
it.
was something else.
And he's just as sweet today as he was naughty.
Yeah, he's a peach.
Yes, he is.
He'd do anything for you now.
That's right, but he was really uphill.
But I remember he'd pick flower, and he couldn't talk plain, you know, and he'd bring, and he did have his good moments, and he'd pick these flowers and bring them in to Mom or us, and he'd say to her, Turkish flowers, because he couldn't talk plain at all.
But he had us going the day he ran away.
Yeah.
He didn't know where they were. And he was very intelligent, and he had been reading Tom Sawyer. And this is where he got his idea to run away.
He's a sharp man today.
Yeah. Millionaire. Was.
All right, who else lived with us?
Oh, my goodness.
Frank Hall.
Grandma,
And
Creston.
Yeah.
Great grandmother.
Yeah.
Townsley.
Grandma Townsend lived. She
She
was
had
in a wheelchair,
She had her broken leg.
and we had a bed in the living room for her.
Hospital bed
That's right.
in the living room.
She
Yeah,
stayed
she
with us.
That was my mom's grandmother.
That's right.
She was, I remember she had her 90th birthday.
Yeah,
Mom-
she did,
Mom
that's
raised
right.
all the curtains in that bay window and wheeled her in that chair and took her picture on her birthday.
We still got it.
Yeah, we got a picture.
I remember things to do. I remember mending a handkerchief. I remember her sitting there doing that.
Oh, really?
You know, she always wanted something to do, you know. And we run out of mending. There she was mending a handkerchief.
Her name was Emma Levina, and this is where our Aunt Emma got her name. Her name was Emma Levina.
Oh, remember the time Emma spilt the bucket of water in the dining room? You remember that, Bobby?
No, because Bobby.
Oh, she was the baby. That's right. We had a chair across the door so she couldn't get out.
So she couldn't go out into the store.
And Emma went and got a bucket of water. I guess she must have went through the store to get it because she come in through the store and she stubbed over that chair and the whole bucket went with it. She mopped water for hours, I'll tell you.
All over the dining room floor.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. Aunt Emma scrubbing the.
Mom always said Aunt Emma and Grandma ruined me because they spoiled me. Yeah, Mom said they ruined me. That's what was wrong with me.
Now, who you were talking about in the wheelchair, that was,
Our mother's grandmother.
or, all right, the Thompson
Townsley.
or Townsley?
Townsley.
Yeah, is this the ones that had money?
No.
No.
Nobody had money.
Who had money?
The Thompsons.
Thompson's had
Yeah.
money, okay.
But this was Townsley side.
This is
Grandma's father.
Our grandma was a Thompson.
Right, that's
Right.
the Thompson, it was
Yeah,
grandma,
our
that's
grandma.
Well, he had a farm. I guess he was considered wealthy back in those days.
But you see, Grandma Townsley was our grandfather's mother, wasn't she? Yeah,
Right.
Townsley's.
Yeah. The one that
But
got
the
killed.
lady she was living, or the woman, her daughter she was living with in Creston, this Grandma Townsley, she had a full-time job, and when she broke her leg, she couldn't take care of her, so they wanted to know, of course, Bellevue and Herb could do it.
Well, Frank Hall lived with us, you know.
Oh, yeah.
one winter.
He was a young boy.
Yeah.
Young man.
He didn't have no job, no nothing.
no place to go.
So we took him in. If you need to go any place, go to Holste's, they'll take you in.
I remember Bobby wasn't, how old were you when Frank was there?
I don't know.
But he was kind of a clown, you know, he was good to get along with. He could stand on his head for hours, I tell you, and that was quite a trait. And one time he was on his head, And he kept hollering, Bobby, I can't get down. I'm stuck. I can't get down. So she backs off there and takes a running dive. She gets him down. Yep.
Well,
Where do
we
we
had a
go?
lot of company, didn't we? We never went anywhere, but we had company.
That was the hardest thing when I got married, being alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
That was me.
Because we
That was
always
the
had
hardest
people.
part,
Yeah.
Oh,
was no people around.
no people around.
You always had somebody there.
And it was quite an adjustment.
Yeah,
Yes, it really was. That's why Mother liked the nursing home. She had people around her, because all her life she had people around her.
Yeah, I think Mom, you know, in later years, she missed that somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she missed
Yeah.
that. Hubbub.
Yeah.
She did.
So where do we go from here, girls?
I just wanted to know if you can recall any special stories that your mother or father might have told you about them growing up. Did they tell you any? No, maybe not.
They didn't talk too much about
Well, you
themselves,
know,
did
Mom
they?
was only 13 when Grandpa was killed, and Grandpa Thompson brought him back to Iowa and set him in this little house. And Mom went to work for other people, scrubbing their floors and keeping
to help Grandma out.
for money
Right. So,
and to survive. And Grandma raised big gardens and stuff like that, and her and the boys worked in the garden.
And I remember her telling about her raising cane and hauling it to Mount Etna to make
molasses.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That was her crop.
That was her
Yeah.
crop.
Cash
Was
crop.
her
Crop.
cash crop
Yeah.
was raising cane, and then there was a mill, I guess.
And making sauerkraut. She made sauerkraut
Yeah.
and sold it.
And sold
She said-
it.
She told us
Uh-huh.
those
Yeah.
stories.
And then that.
But
they-
really, Grandma never talked much
No, she
No.
didn't.
about her,
Her
life.
life. No,
Yeah.
she
okay,
didn't.
Mother told us everything.
okay,
Mother gave me a complete, I have it all written down.
okay.
But, you know, Grandma was only, what, 36 when Grandpa was killed?
Oh my God.
And she lived the rest of her life as a widow.
With 6
With
kids.
6 children. The
Can you
youngest
remember how lonely she must have
from
been?
13 to 3 months old to 13.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But I know Mom went to work early, scrubbing floors for other people.
I said, now today she would have had no trouble at all
No.
No, yeah.
to get help.
With
you know,
6
with
kids,
6
she'd have been
children.
loaded with
Yeah.
money.
She'd have had a heyday.
But
Back in those days, Grandpa went up and got her on the train, put everything she could find in one big box, and brought her home, and that's all she could bring back.
Didn't Aunt Fred go with her too?
I don't remember.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They just left dishes on the table and left everything because she could only take home what those big boxes hold.
I was gonna ask you now, did Grandpa build that little house in before? That's
Yeah,
what I
Yeah.
thought.
they lived with, heaven forbid, his wife,
Yeah.
Grandma
Yeah,
Martha.
she wasn't too,
Martha.
she
and,
wasn't easy to live with either, you know.
Well, Grandma Martha didn't speak to her after she got married.
Yeah.
You know, Mother wouldn't speak to her after she got married and
disowned
wouldn't
her.
allow her in the house. So her relationship after she left home was
That was
with
terrible.
the Townsley side of the family because the Thompsons, her mother Thompson just disowned her.
I guess.
And so here she is coming home into her house with a widow and 6 kids. You can imagine what her life was like. Well, Grandpa, he wasn't that way.
That's right.
And he got busy and built her a little square house just about a half mile from him on his land and let her have 20 or, I'm not sure whether it was 20 or 30 acres. And
He said, "There, you gotta survive." That's about
but
what he said to her.
when Grandpa died then, Grandma and the rest of the family got her out of there. They owned other land and they picked the poorest little piece of land they could find with the worst
Rocks.
house on it that
Rocks.
ever was, and they put her on that. And that was her inheritance. And the rest of them
Oh,
Got everything.
got everything. And that's how Grandma got even with it. She was
Naughty woman.
she was.
You know, Grandpa
Cruel.
Town lived a terrible life.
Yes, she did.
till she lived
Well,
with
Grandma
Mom.
Thompson didn't actually want him to go get him.
No, uh-uh.
She
I can't
pretty much
imagine
made
what
her
a-
bed, she lied
What
about
kind of a fight they had for him to go and do this, you know?
Well, I don't know how, Graham wouldn't have survived up there without that help.
No, because they didn't have.
Because they didn't
have-
own anything, they just
didn't
rented
have
this
anything.
land?
They didn't have anything.
John Townsley and Ellen Labrina. John Townsley was up there. No, not John. He was up there. Oh, it was Lula, Allison, and her. They were up there at that time.
Okay,
They
who,
didn't have any money.
what else you want us to talk about?
What didn't your father tell you any stories about his life?
No.
No? Nothing.
Just about he was in poor health and he was in the hospital and
Okay,
uh, intestinal problems.
mm-hmm.
And I think they took out a section of his intestine.
Right.
And
Did you inherit it?
yeah, you
Yeah.
inherited
You
that.
inherited
You know
it.
what it is. That's
Yeah.
what
You know
that's
what-
what our dad had.
What your grandpa had?
Uh-huh.
Right,
And
okay.
so that's what they knew. He didn't like farming. He couldn't survive, to be a farmer. So that's
At-
why
At
he
age
schooled.
15, he fell off of a horse.
Mm.
And for a year, he couldn't talk.
Oh, gosh.
And they didn't know what,
Mm.
what was going on. And then he ended up with this intestinal problem.
Mhm.
Now, what,
One
Mother-
caused the other, or what?
we don't know.
But I really think it's something that's inherited.
But he
Yeah,
had bad
that's-
health for some time there.
I think Pat is the only one that's ever had it so
Yeah.
far. Of all ancestors, or you know, and
I had
Heirs.
I had the trouble, but it wasn't that, you know, but, you know, I had intestinal trouble, but it wasn't what Dad had.
Okay.
all we know about our father is that, I guess.
Well, he grew up with a lot of brothers, and
Yeah.
I think they had a good time up there, because they were,
And they had money, they had hired help,
yeah,
Okay,
he grew up in an affluent home, I'd say.
okay.
Yeah,
for the
but it-
time.
Yeah,
For the
them
time
times,
that,
yeah.
you know, it was, they were affluent, not wealthy, but just,
Oh, sure.
yeah, you know.
Didn't lack.
No, they didn't lack for anything.
Okay.
Just like us, you know, we
Right.
didn't have a lot of money at home, but we always had plenty to eat and
Clothes on her
and a
back, yeah.
warm place to stay.
We didn't know we were poor.
No, we didn't.
That's what my kids say when they grew up, that we were poor, but they didn't know we were poor.
We're happy.
What were the good things about being a country storekeeper's daughter? Or,
I think we pretty well covered that.
okay. Just, okay.
We had a lot of company.
Yeah, they had a lot of company.
Yeah.
Were there any really bad memories that you can remember that you didn't like? Because you were storekeeper daughter, you didn't like that?
Well, the only thing is, we never got to go anywhere.
Okay.
We
So-
were just tied there, you know.
That's true.
The only
That's
time we got
true.
to go anywhere was my dad loved Will Rogers. And if the movie in Corning was Will Rogers, we knew we were going to go to the movies. So once in a great blue moon, we got to go to see Will Rogers. And we'd enjoy the cartoons, I guess, maybe, I don't know.
Well, I
But
remember,
That's about the only time we went anywhere.
I remember, I don't know if it's because he had 4 girls or what, but when Little Women showed in Corning, we got to go to see that show. Or we were,
Mother probably had.
Mother probably
influence
said
on that.
we're
and
going.
we were gonna go like on Sunday afternoon to the matinee. And we had dirt roads, you know. And I remember it rained Saturday, and I thought, oh, there we go.
Well, rain, we're dead.
So all day Sunday we looked at that road, and then pretty soon Dad looked out the window about noon or somewhere we were supposed to go, and he said, no. He said, there's a track up on Uncle Art's hill, so we can go. It was making a track. It wasn't balling up, you know, like
Yeah.
it would in your tires. He said, no, there's a good track up on Uncle Art's hill, so we can make it and we can go. And I can remember that. We got to see Little Women.
Remember Dad and Mom went to the state fair by themselves once? And that's-
No, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I remember
No.
10. I remember
They
Mom
stayed-
telling about it.
They stayed 2 or 3 days up there. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Up there.
Who run the store?
Oh, I suppose the hired help.
Yeah.
Probably Red.
Red did.
Red.
Red Johnson did probably.
And took care
Remember
of
the time
kids.
Red
old
food
grandma.
water on Virginia and Airy. And she took out after him and he went around the barn. She had a bucket of water and Bush, she could run. And she caught him and she dumped that bucket of water on him.
Yeah, she was keeping house for
Yeah.
Mom.
Oh, he was ornery.
He was.
He liked to do things like
Yeah.
that.
But he didn't think she could run that fast. Boy, I'll tell you.
Yeah, she had long legs.
Oh, she did. She went after him.
So you think of anything negative about growing up in the
It's
store?
just that we didn't get to go anywhere.
And nothing was private, but we kids
We
didn't
didn't-
realize
we
Yeah,
that.
but remember we used to have a little sewing club. All the neighbor girls would come and we would embroider
I
or
wish you could
something
see
and
that.
stuff.
Well,
I'd like to see it.
oh, I wanted her to put that in the historical
Yeah.
building so bad that she wouldn't give it up.
Yeah. All
I
the neighbor
remember we went one place and we always had lunch, you know.
girls- Yeah, oh
always
sure.
first
Oh yeah, I
lunch.
had lunch,
I
yeah.
remember we went this one place and I had never eaten these kind of sandwiches before, but we had tomato sandwiches. And that's all it was in it, was just two slices of bread and a tomato in between.
I can remember, you know,
That was
coming-
in your sewing club?
That was our sewing club.
I never was in the sewing club.
Oh, you weren't?
well, you know, when we went to country school, you know, the last day we always had a big picnic.
Yeah.
And I can remember I'd never eat anything, only what my mother told me. Never. I only ate what my mom told
I think that's kids the world over. Mine were that way too.
I stop and think now, what? I really missed out on a lot of good food.
My kid said the only time I fixed anything good was when I had to take it to church.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Well, I remember getting to go home from church with some of the other kids on Sunday.
Oh, I see.
Now, I don't know whether any of you girls did that or not. I went home with Dorothy Kiesel.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I went home with, they didn't come to church, but then I went home with Margie Ford, and I went home with Bernice,
No,
and.
never did.
and
No, I don't think we ever.
I would go
never did.
home with Margie Yocker.
Marge, I remember going to her house. Yeah.
Remember the time she
After
come?
church, and then Dad would always come and get me.
Remember the time
About 3
Marjorie
in the
came?
afternoon.
Oh.
Remember the time Marjorie came to our house and she got dirty?
Oh, yeah. She loved to come and get
Oh,
dirty.
I know it, but oh my goodness, Mom was trying to clean her up, and here they come to get her before Mom got her cleaned up. Oh.
Well, I remember going up to Kiesel's, you know, Ruth and Eileen, and we were always and going up there and playing their barn, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
come out with hay seeds and stuff in our hair.
Yeah.
And Alice said, "I can't send you girls home looking like that." So she had to shampoo her hair and I don't know what all, because she wouldn't send us home. I guess they knew what Mother was like.
Yeah, I'm
Sure they did.
They knew what Mother was like.
But you know, too, I remember the cake, white cake with caramel
Oh,
frosting.
Yeah.
And she made it for supper, I guess. We ate the whole thing.
What, you girls?
Yeah, we ate the whole cake. It wasn't a real big one, you know, but we ate the whole thing.
At whose house?
At Kiesel's.
Kiesel's.
Oh,
Alice had
And
made
we
this
was
cake.
always calling up to see if we could stay for supper. And Mother one day, when we come home, she says, if you ever, when we went to play, don't you dare call and ask if you know, because you can't then go play for I forget how long. But sure enough, we tried it. We stayed home. When Mom said something, we did.
Yeah.
I remember playing, it was always in that creek,
Oh,
catching
yeah.
tadpoles or digging up lilies or wading or something in that creek. And of course, we always had to be presentable to go to be at the store, you know.
Yeah, sure.
And we'd come home, we'd be mud and, you know, our clothes and everything. And one time Mom said, if you kids go down there and get that dirty again and get your clothes in such a mess, you're just going to have to wear them. So we thought, well, big deal, we don't care. But that wasn't all we got.
I wonder always what Mother ever done with all them water lilies we brought home.
We was always digging up water lilies.
Tadpoles.
Well, she had a fish pond.
Oh, yeah.
Put a lot of tadpoles in that fish pond.
She did like that fish pond.
Yeah,
That
she
one,
did.
didn't
Mom
she?
liked that fish pond.
It was
That was
quite
her pride and
representative.
joy.
Yeah, it was kind of an attraction.
Who made that? Did Dad fix that for her?
Oh, surely not.
Father.
She
Not
probably
our
had Norval
father.
do it, didn't she?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, it was older
Older
than that.
than
It was older than
Marvel.
that?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I don't.
Well, maybe
I
she was
have
out there
no
mixing
idea.
some man herself.
Well,
I
she
don't know.
could have been. She could have made it
She
herself.
could have, she got married than father.
Do you remember the day the rainbow ended in it?
Yeah, I do.
Uh-huh.
We was thinking about a pot of gold.
Yeah, wasn't that beautiful though?
Yeah.
The rainbow ended right in
Right in
Grandma
that
and Mom's
Mom's fish pond.
fish pond. The end of the rainbow. That was really something. Well,
What else, kid, you want?
Well, I wanted to ask you about the quicksand. Where was the quicksand? Wasn't that like creek?
Down on the creek.
Oh,
In the
what?
creek, there where they dammed
Oh,
the
was
I
it?
don't suppose it was all that deep,
No,
but
but
I don't
but
think it-
it scared the kids. to
yeah.
death.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't
okay.
think it would have consumed her.
I don't know. I thought I was.
But I know we pulled
Sucked
her.
her overshoes in there.
Yeah, we pulled her out. We was getting scared, boy.
Yeah, I bet you were. Okay, go ahead, Jenny.
How long, I don't recall, how long did Grandma live with the basement and the upstairs and leaving the living room as parlor and stuff? How long were they married before she finally turned that into part of the house? Do you remember?
You mean before they built on the kitchen?
Well, I guess basically, yeah. I mean, I know Grandma got tired of running up and down so
Well,
much.
they took
and-
that big long porch and divided it, see,
Made the kitchen.
and made the kitchen, and I suppose that's when they moved up, is when they fixed that
Well, I
kitchen.
don't think Mom went up and downstairs too long till it was changed.
Yeah, well, Dewey, we have a picture of Dewey when he was small, and the porch was there. And any pictures after that, that it wasn't, it was divided. That I've run into, that she had, that she took
Well, I expect
outside.
after the baby
So-
comes, she probably needed.
Yeah.
They needed more.
So
Yeah,
maybe in
you
the
know.
20s, 1920 or
Well,
so.
I would say,
Uh-huh.
yeah. 'cause
1919
They,
to
it wasn't
1920.
even plastered what they built, it was just, I don't know what they did, but it just had oilcloth walls.
Oh, it did?
Yes,
Oh.
and don't you remember when we got roaches so bad
Oh,
that
that's
we couldn't
right,
get
yeah.
rid of them, they got in behind
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
And,
That's right.
so there was nothing to do, they tore it all
Yeah.
out and they had it plastered. But that was
Oh,
after
yeah.
I left.
Oh, I remember those roaches. You turned that
Oh,
light
yeah.
on and then just,
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible.
and couldn't get rid of them.
But that was after I left.
Today they
home.
have things, don't they, Pam?
There was no money spent
Not on the house.
on the house, you know. If the roof leaked, we got up there and we put tar on it, it was never
Thatched.
shingled. You just put some more
Thatched.
tar on it.
Did they ever
and
put a
patched
new
it.
roof on that house?
The people that bought it, no.
They've never put a new roof on that house? Boy, it must leak.
But when we were small, you know, where there was no money to fix anything,
Yeah.
you know, it just,
You just made
they
do.
just made do. I know there was always tar in the roof.
How did the town get the name of Dewey, or the community? Do you know?
From Admiral Dewey,
From Admiral Dewey.
yes, from the Battle of 1898
Oh, okay.
in Manila Bay, Admiral Dewey. And they were getting a post office then, and at the same time, and so they just thought
It had to have a
they
name.
had to have a name, and so they just chose Dewey from that famous battle.
Isn't that? Okay, I never knew how that happened. Well, I suppose we're about up to World War II, don't you think that? I mean,
I think so.
so who all remembers when the day happened?
We were having, it was Dad's birthday.
right,
We
we
were
had
having a
oysters.
dinner.
Oysters too.
And Dad hadn't come home yet
No,
when the news came over the radio.
radio. We weren't having oysters stew. It
I
was
thought Mom,
new.
no, I thought Mom had his family over, or his dads and sisters and brothers over, didn't she?
No, it was just us.
Was it?
And I know,
I thought she had an oyster stew for him.
supper.
No, I know Walt was there. And it was just a Sunday dinner and we was waiting for Dad.
Okay.
Huh?
I don't know.
Then it came over the radio and that's about all I remember.
In the meantime, our brother had gotten out of the army, and he had worked the summer at a neighbor that was a farmer. He had worked the summer, so he wasn't in the service at the time. And then when Pearl Harbor happened, why, in a short time, some Army buddies came by and told him that he could have his old rank back if he would re-enlist, not wait to be drafted. And so he did that. And he went back to the service at his old rank.
Talk about Walt, I remember the first time he saw my mother. I should tell you this. He didn't know me. He was just going with his friend down across the country to meet this friend's uncle. And it was summer day and they were thirsty, so they stopped at Dewey's store to get a bottle of pop. So they sat there and they drank their pop before they went on, and then they went back out to the car and he told his friend, he said, that's the crabbiest looking old lady in there you ever saw. Turned out to be his mother-in-law.
And then he go on, he went to work.
Yeah, and then he went to work for another neighbor that was up there, and he worked up there, helped picking corn and stuff. And he'd go by on the tractor, and us girls give him a heart. We just
Always hanging up.
we were naughty. And he'd go by on the tractor with a wagon or something, because they were farming back up there behind the house. And we gave Walt a hard time. Every time he'd go by, we'd holler at him or jazz him up or something.
This one time, we knew he was working in the field right there east of the house. And I don't know, I did something and Jerry took after me with the broom, and so I run down east there to the bridge, and Jerry was after me with that broom, and we knew he was there. We
were just doing this for his benefit.
Wanted attention, didn't you, girl?
Sure.
Yeah, it worked.
Then we had the dance at the store then shortly after that fall anyway. And he came, because the neighbors came down, and Ed, he was the fiddler
Yeah, that's right.
at the North, and that's the people he was working for. So he came along too, but he wouldn't dance, he wouldn't have anything to do with that. So he stayed up late on the couch up there in the living room, I guess. And then that night he asked me if I'd go to the movies with him the next day. So, and from there on, who knows, huh?
Now, how old were you then?
How old was I then?
Yeah.
Was I 18, 19 years old?
Okay.
Let's go.
And she had boyfriends, boyfriends, and boyfriends, and boyfriends.
I said, I never will run for office because they dig up all this old past of mine.
The boys liked her.
The boys liked Jerry.
Yes, they did.
That's because you played baseball with them and stuff. Were you more tomboyish?
No, not
No,
really.
really?
No, because I really,
I was the dog.
Bobby was a tomboy.
Right.
I was the flirt. That's what I
Oh,
was.
well.
Yeah, there you got the right word. But the boys liked her.
Well, I did a lot of flirting.
But she was whenever he held the dress up.
But Dad knew everything bad about everybody.
Never had a boy good enough.
No, there never was good enough.
That's right, because when Clarence wanted to take me out, he said what was his words now? Let me see.
He
He's
direct,
pretty wild. That's what he
pretty
said.
wild.
He's pretty wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he drove a motorcycle.
Oh.
yeah, 'cause Dad knew everything about every one of them boys in that neighborhood, and I'll tell you, there wasn't one good enough for nobody.
well, fathers are like that.
Yeah, I guess.
I remember Walt and Linda. Walt, oh, I hate the weekends. She was never allowed to date during the week, you know. Walt, oh, I hate the weekends. He never worried about the boys.
When did you go start in the plant when the war
Don't
started?
ask me. I'm no good at dates, girls.
Well, you know, after the
Yeah,
war, you know,
I
you,
went,
you
yeah.
worked in the.
I don't know. I think they come out there and try to get people to go out there to work, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And
we
I know-
advertised at
Yeah,
the fire
and I
aircraft.
know I rode out there with the undertaker in Griswold, Iowa.
Is that
Well,
right?
he took us. He took some other girls. too.
Oh.
It wasn't just me. It was a, you know.
To apply for a job?
Well, now, I have a picture of you in your uniform
Yeah.
from fire, and
Yeah.
it's dated 1943.
Is it? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
how long before that, or what in that?
I don't. I just can't. You know. You know. I went out and worked for Lula, Evelyn's sister.
Oh, did you
I stayed
work
there.
too?
Yeah, I stayed there a long time with them.
I worked there too.
Yeah, but I did too.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
I
went
think
after Norma left, I think, to
Yeah.
go to the plant.
I
was
believe
going-
that's right.
I was going to the bomber plant, you know,
Yeah.
and I stayed with her and took care
And I was
took care of her little girls at night. You know, I mean,
She just had one then.
yeah.
Because Judy was just a baby when
Yeah.
I went.
So then I imagine you went, and then Blondie probably went when you left for the
Yeah,
bomber
probably.
plant.
I went out.
Probably, yeah. Because I know Tom, you know, he went by and I offered him a Clark bar. That was the end of me.
Talk about flirts.
That was the end of me.
You fed him the rest of your life, didn't
That's
you?
right.
But you were at the bomber plant.
Yeah, I was sitting in an
Yes.
airplane.
How long was Friar school?
I
6
don't,
months?
it wasn't too long. 6 months, maybe something like that. I can't remember.
What did you do?
Oh, you would put nuts on bolts.
Rosie's riveter,
Yeah.
that's what
Well, I
she
didn't
was.
rivet. No.
Well,
You didn't
no,
catch any
but then
rivets,
No.
That's the name they gave
But
to
I
you
know,
gals.
Rosie the Riveter.
I know, but I will tell you about Tom Kelman. There was all those men there, and most of them were married, and they were the biggest bunch of flirts you ever saw in your life. And I would not have nothing to do with them because they were all married. Because, you know, the war was on.
Yeah.
So Tom, and he kept coming by, and so I thought, well, I'm going to find out. So I found the guy from Glenwood, and I said to him, I said, is that Tom Kelman married? Because I wasn't about to have anything to do with somebody, you know. And he said, no, and he's a nice guy, so. Because so then I
you
knew.
offered him
So then
what?
you offered him a candy
No,
bar.
I offered him that before. Because he kept coming by, see, and talking to me. And I thought to myself, I just bet he's a married guy, because all the rest of them were, and they were the biggest bunch of flirts.
Because all the single ones were in the service.
Well, yeah, and, you know, and I just figured he was married, and he was good looking. Tom was a good looking guy, you know. And, but no, he said no, he never been married, so I was safe.
And 1 month later.
Well, about 6 weeks married.
That fast?
That fast.
Why don't I remember that?
Then
You
you
got
went-
married that fast?
Then you went to the East Coast too, didn't you?
Yeah, I went out to Washington.
What was he doing out there?
Working at shipyards.
Oh,
He went
he
out
left the
to the
bomber plants?
shipyards, yeah, and I stayed with Mom while he went, and he kept a calling out home. You know. My mom said to me, "You better get out there," she says, because he just calls all the Well, I ain't gonna go on and tell the rest of this. So I got on the train, and I was a petrified girl. I never seen a black man till I went to Omaha. Now that's the gospel truth. Never saw a black man till I went to Omaha. But anyway, I got on this train and I went down. Well, he decides that he's going to meet me in, what town? Someplace. I don't know, I can't remember what town. He got on the train and he was going to meet me. Well, he paged me on this train. Well, I never was out in there because I stayed in the bathroom. Because at night, them soldiers and girls, there was things going on Norma didn't like. So I stayed in the bathroom and I never heard the page. So I went home or got there, and here some people I met somewhere in Iowa, Lennox or someplace. And they took me to Ogden Meadows where our apartment was and left me. And I went over to the administration building to get the key. I went over there and got the key, and I come back and it wouldn't unlock the door. I sat down on the porch and I bawled and I bawled and I bawled. I didn't know what to do because I was, how you would be. So if I decided I'm going back over and tell them about the key, and I was going across the road and somebody honks the horn. Well, I didn't look around because I was petrified. I don't go look at nobody. And pretty soon I heard Tom's voice. And I didn't know whether to be mad or happy. So that's the story of him.
And you were happy.
I don't know. At the time I was mad. Why? He was a man that could never stay in one. If you go to Council Blast and we go shopping, and he said, we'll meet you down at Beano's, you know, at a certain hour. If we weren't there at that hour, me and the kids, he would take off. He wouldn't wait 1 second.
You would wander around looking for
That's
him.
right.
You were supposed to be here at 4:01,
He had no
and at
reason.
4:01, 30, you weren't there, so he went looking for you.
That's right. And you know, like going to church, if we would have had a flat tire going to church and we'd be late, we would come home. We wouldn't go.
You wouldn't go in late.
No. We would come home.
You had to be punctual.
Yes, right. He was a very punctual person.
Now, you married brothers,
Yes,
and you're also cousins to your husbands.
no.
Well, that's what Grandma
Oh,
told
yeah.
me.
Oh, yeah.
Way
We're-
down.
We're
Well, yeah, if you want to go back 6 generations.
we're eighth cousins.
When we want to go back, we're all from Adam and Eve. You know?
Yeah.
No, I
We
just
are.
remember her
We're-
telling the story about someone telling you all that you couldn't
Yeah,
marry him.
yes. Oh, yeah, Aunt Balby divorced us. You can't marry.
We're eighth cousins.
Oh, Lord.
Comes through the schoolings.
Yeah.
That's
That's
just how we're related.
But you're cousins, so you
We're cousins.
can't
yeah.
get married.
Can't get married.
a schooling married.
Yeah.
Married great grandpa Thompson. And a schooling married a Boswell back in 1833. And they were the same schoolings.
Same
Yeah.
schoolings. But they figured out one time it's eighth cousin.
I don't know how many times we remember. But
Yeah,
anyway, Aunt Valerie
right.
didn't think we ought to go together.
No.
Let alone get married.
Yeah. Well, Orville I met on the school bus. That's really where I met Orville. Riding the school bus to Corning.
Huh. Going to school.
Yeah.
Where'd you meet Clarence?
What about Adna?
You know, I don't remember of seeing him when I went down to Mount Etna to the 3 shows.
I don't remember ever seeing Orville either.
Or any time I was down there
And I'm
in
sure
the
they were
school or
there.
anything. But Jerry was on the school bus, and this freshman kid got on the school bus, and she used to tease him about his fuzz on his face, on a frosty morning, you know. And Jerry used to come home and talk about
Yeah.
Clarence.
Uh-huh.
And I was just about old enough to get,
Yeah.
wonder about him. And then when I went to Mount Etna, I asked. And he went to the show this one night, the free movie. And there was a guy in there who was a lunatic or something. Anyway, he pretended he had a dog on a leash. And Clarence come up to me and he said, "See my dog?" That's the first time I knew it was.
That you knew it.
Clarence.
Yeah. Well, we double dated too for a while.
During the war, why Clarence had a harem.
Yeah, he did. He took us all to the
He'd
movies.
always take Blondie and I to the movie
With
with
Bobby.
me, I got to go too.
Bobby, Clarence,
He'd come up
He'd
to
come
get
up
Bobby.
to get Bobby.
And he'd say, come on, so we'd both hang in there.
What did we name that car?
What, that 40 Chevy?
No, Clarence's car. We always had to name a car. We that Chevy we named Popocatépetl. Don't you remember?
You mean no, like that Buick, that old Buick thing?
Something about blue. Something blue.
Blue Hornet?
We always had to name a car, you
Oh,
know.
yes, Dad's pickup was Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Car was Josephine.
And the car was Josephine.
And we christened him.
Uh-huh.
We had a Christmas ceremony.
Oh yeah, everything had to have a, what we named Popocatépetl. Oh, that was Walt's car.
Oh,
Because we never knew when the steam was going to blow.
oh.
Get
The
over
one,
it.
the one the tire fell
The one
off.
the tire fell off.
One night
You
coming up,
remember Blue?
Jerry was going to summer school in Red Oak, and Walt asked, Walt was going down to see her, and he asked, were you along?
Remember
It was
this?
just a coup.
No, I don't remember
accident.
that.
Anyway, I went along, and we went down to see Jerry, and coming home just right there south of Dewey, a half mile by the tire. The whole wheel fell off.
Oh,
So we had to end up walking.
Walking home. I was glad we was that close to home. So Walt said, oh, there's no use trying to find it tonight. So he went down the next morning and found it over there in Art Nelson's field.
Well, we went down, got you, and brought you home. Is that what we done?
Yeah,
You were along.
Yeah, I was along.
Okay.
Yeah, I was along.
Anyway, he asked me to run. Anyway, I was along.
Remember the time he let you drive the car? He was tired. He couldn't
Walt?
stay awake.
No.
Yeah, I don't. We've been to Corning or something.
Oh, really? And I drove the car?
And I know you hit that old stump. You know how they're used to these.
Oh, yeah.
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 And you drove in south of the store.
Yeah.
And you hit the stump.
Yeah.
That woke him up.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I do remember that.
He got sleepy.
I remember the day we decided we wanted to learn to drive. So we got in the car, we asked Mother if we can do this. And she said, and she explained to us the gears. This is the old 30 Chevy. And she explained the gears, and where they were and how we were supposed to do it. So we got in the car and we went east. Well, we got along real fine. And we got over to Aunt Mary and Uncle Alfred's corner, and we turned south, and then there was a hill there. Well, turning the corner, we slowed down. Well, we had shift gears. So I don't know whether it was you or me driving, I don't know. Anyway, we shifted gears. Well, we shifted into high. And
We'd been going long in low gear.
we killed it. Mom told us wrong. That's what happened. And we killed it, and so we started again. And I don't know how many times we did this. Well, Aunt Mary was out in the yard over there, and she couldn't stand any longer. She hollered at us, and she said, "You got it in the wrong gear."
oh.
And so she told us where the
Put
right
it
gears
neutral
were.
there.
And so then we got along. And that was our first driving experience. We went the 4 miles. We went a mile over and a mile down and then back to Dewey. So that was our first driving experience.
We didn't know anything.
No,
We had never been behind the wheel.
Oh,
They didn't have automatic shift, did they?
no, no, no.
It's funny, Mom let us do that.
I know. I just can't imagine it.
Why she didn't say, well, wait till somebody that knows how goes
Well,
with
I
it
guess she
and
thought
teaches you.
She thought we knew. I guess. I don't know.
I can remember Mom driving the old Foot Model T. Can
Oh,
you?
yeah. Do you remember when she went up the grade?
Yeah, run out
up
of
the
gas.
Up the bank, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scared herself to death.
Death.
Yeah.
Well, I remember going down to see Gran. She lived down on the bottom there,
Yeah.
in the Model T.
And we'll talk about going up the hill.
Yes, you can
And we
remember
got to
going
going
down
up the
there.
hill and she didn't have enough gas and it run down and it quit. So she knew what to do. She went down to the bottom of the hill and she backed up the hill. And then we made it all.
That made the
That
gas.
gas go. Uh-huh. So we had enough gas that way. I don't know how we got home, I guess. We went the hill down, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Did
think
you
this
live
is
in
the
a
end of
little
the
square
story.
house when that went on? It did. You weren't very old.
No, I wasn't. I don't remember much, but.
Are we all done here, girls? Anything else you want?
The first car I remember
Well, we haven't
is
talked
the
about the war, have
27
we?
Pontiac.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you want
That's
to know
the one
about?
we
I don't
drove
know
down
much
over
about the
retaining
war.
wall.
What do you know about the war, girls?
I
Well, like
remember
what store,
D-Day.
what the store during the war? Was there
Store during the war.
anything drastically happened different? Or?
Just rationing.
Rationing,
Yeah, we had the ration books.
Rationing.
Meat,
You only get so,
Sugar,
you
gas,
only get so
sugar,
much sugar.
Gas. And
You had coupons that you had to turn
and
in.
meat.
Stamps.
gas was no problem because Dad went back and forth to Mount Etna. And so he was allowed gas to do that. And so, and of course, we never went anywhere, except to Mount Etna and back.
The
Church.
church and back,
Church,
which is only a
it was
mile.
Just a mile. And so we never really had a problem with gas, but everybody else did, I think.
Biggest thing was sugar, I think.
Uh-huh.
People really missed the sugar.
I
You
remember
just couldn't
making,
get sugar.
Yeah,
We
sugarless
used
cakes.
Honey.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah,
And then
syrup.
that's when Crisco was invented.
Because I was looking the other day and I found this recipe for syrup, you know.
Yeah, syrup.
Now,
cake.
why did we have syrup and not sugar?
That's
I,
it.
I don't understand that one.
I don't either,
I don't
because we used honey, I can
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
remember. I know we used to make whipped cream, put honey in it, and you know, it really was good.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't,
Water.
well, yeah.
Well, and it stood up.
Yeah, it
good.
would, you didn't have to worry about beating it too much and it'd turn into butter with
Yeah.
the sugar, with the honey.
Honey in it.
If you could beat it longer and not worry about it.
But I don't know, why didn't we have lard? That's when Crisco was invented. Or hydrogen
Yeah.
generator,
Well, that's
whatever you call it.
vegetable.
Vegetable
Yeah.
shortening.
Well,
And
the
that's
meat
when-
and the lard, that all went to the
Then
service.
they- Yeah, and
So they
then,
didn't have lard.
that's when they made Ole for the first time. You used to have to
Oh,
color it.
Yeah.
Remember?
Remember Ole and had the little
Had a
yellow
little
packet? Yeah.
Packet in there and
You had to color your own.
Colored so it was yellow like
Yeah.
butter.
Why was that? Because the,
That was,
That
that was,
dye, wasn't it? I don't
yeah, but
know.
why did they make them do that? Because the farmers didn't.
something about
About their butter or
yeah.
something.
The dairy.
In later
Uh-huh.
years, they
Dairy
changed
products,
that.
yeah.
It could be colored.
Remember the slogan, Lucky Strike has gone to war?
Yeah.
Lucky
Yeah.
Strike cigarettes were in a dark green package. And of course, they needed all the green dye for camouflage, and so they made a white package. And they said, and the advertisement was Lucky Strike
Has
has gone to
gone to
war.
And I know, like, I always liked double mint gum, you know, real well. That was my favorite gum. And for my birthday, well, we could, you know, that was ration too, you know, gum and candy and
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff. And we couldn't get too much gum and stuff. And so one year for my birthday, Walt sent me, of course, PX, you could get
Yeah.
anything, you know.
And soldiers could get everything.
Yeah, he sent me a whole carton of double mint gum for my birthday.
Candy
Did you
bar.
notice a vast difference? I mean, I think around there, the community would.
Yeah, all
I
the
mean,
young
from
men
before
were
and
gone.
after the war, other than the fact that men were gone, but even just lifestyle, I mean,
Well, yeah, things changed.
Yeah, started it.
You know,
Well, too, they went around and picked up metal, you know.
Yeah.
and-
We picked,
you save
we
things.
picked,
Milkweed
milkweed
pods.
pots. And you know what for? The fluff in them? School kids went out and picked them by the gunny side from the roadside, and they used them for insulation in the flying suits.
I never knew that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
They know how soft and downy that.
And
They must have got enough.
Yeah, or just, you know, wool, just bags and bags.
Bags, yeah.
Bags, just, and even in Adams County.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they hadn't invented the
Polyester.
polyester, you know. it wasn't around yet.
Well, nylons was invented then too, wasn't
Yes,
it?
the
Your
substitute for
nylon
silk.
socks.
You couldn't get silk stockings
Oh,
anymore.
yeah,
That's
and
when
the
nylon.
nylons were valuable trading
Yeah,
things.
I'll tell you about my nylon story. I had some, and we were in Washington, and Tom was going to take me to Seaside, Oregon. And I got all dressed up and put on my nylons, and he says to me, honey, he says, I want you to shut your eyes before, so you, when we get to the ocean, you can't open them. Well, guess what? I got a run in my nylons because I snagged them on something.
Because you couldn't see.
Yeah, because I
Had your eyes shut.
That's right. That was Tom's.
It was his fault.
Yeah.
Ruined your nylon.
Ruined my nylon. Probably the only pair I had.
No doubt. A lot of things were invented during the war.
yeah.
you know.
Yes.
It's been
Man!
I heard somebody say too that one of the things was a ballpoint pen when they came home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
span.
Oh, ballpoint pens. I got the first Reynolds ballpoint pen, you know, and it wouldn't write. And they said it was guaranteed, so you send in the company, they sent me another one. It still wasn't right. I know when I wrote to Clarence, when he was in Japan, and he said, you never finished any letter you wrote me with that pen, because it would always quit, and I'd have to go get a regular pen, because these ballpoints just, they just hadn't perfected them yet to where they'd really write.
The ink would flow through.
And you know they cost $15.
I know, paid
Yeah.
$15
Yeah.
for them, and
For a
and
ballpoint
you could
pen.
never finish a letter with one of them, because they'd quit.
Yeah.
They just had enough ink in them.
Yeah.
One time when Orville was in the Navy, I had never heard from him for weeks. I had never got a letter. And one night, the mailman that delivered our mail, he came down after supper, and the mail had come in, and he had a whole package like that
Oh.
of letters, all tied up. And he come down after hours and brought them to
that's
me.
cute.
I thought that was so sweet.
Yeah.
I was always mad and jealous of Blondie. She always got letters
Poor old
and
Jane
letters.
never
and
got
I
never a letter.
Well, of course, I understand now. You see these war pictures, I can see why Walt couldn't
Didn't write a
write.
letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was out in the field or in a foxhole
Oh,
or
yeah.
wherever. I could understand.
Yeah.
But
And
I
on
didn't
the move.
And on the move.
Jerry never ever got a letter.
Well,
Never,
I did
never.
once in a while. I
Yeah.
got letters at home that he'd written.
Yeah.
But if I didn't write to other boys, I never would have got any letters.
Oh, that's right, you got a lot of letters, but
Because
they
I
weren't
worked to a
from
lot of
Walt.
guys. All these
Yeah.
guys I knew.
Got a picture kissing one goodbye too.
Yeah. And I didn't even marry him.
No, you didn't. That was a good picture. too.
Yeah, it was.
Beautiful picture.
No,
Do you still have it?
Yeah, I think so, somewhere.
that was a good picture.
Picture was, got in the newspaper.
He was in the train and they lifted me up and I got to kiss him goodbye out of the train. He was hanging out the train.
Leaving on
Out
the
of
trip.
Villisca, Iowa.
Uh-huh.
Sweet.
In Villisca, Iowa.
You made the picture.
Well, are you all done?
Yeah.
I mean, are you all done, tired of talking at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next time you can do the post-war years.
I wanna,
No,
well,
I don't want to know that. This is the story of our life at home.
I wanna think about, you to think about what your favorite recipes are, so.
Yeah, we told us to talk about recipes.
Yeah.
And then,
Be sure you put which one's your favorites.
next time we're gonna watch tape and then see what we come up with any more ideas. If we have to have another taping, we might include grandma's side more in that one of the family.
Oh,
You know, bring grandma into this. I mean, her little side, her. I don't know. If there's any more we need to talk about there, I don't know. But if we need to do this again, we're gonna watch the tapes and see if we come up with any more questions or.
we can check what.
I think you guys did very well.
But I'm just awesome.
I don't think there's gonna
I'm so
be much
comfortable with
more
this.
to say.